So this is Porphyry Control. This deck was built after seeing the recent Modern Pro Tour. So the idea is it's white and it's got two different lands, a Ghost Quarter running 4 of and Forbidden Orchard. So and Mystifying Maze. So this is it's like almost a pillow deck, soft lockdown, but it gets aggressive with tokens, and it can also Forbidden Orchard has a very nice synergy with both Suture Priest and with Porphyry nodes. So the basis around the deck is Porphyry nodes. So if you know anything about this card, it's pretty awesome. At the beginning of your upkeep, you have to destroy the lowest power creature. If it's tied, you get to choose. So to keep this, and if there's no creatures in play, you have to sack the nodes. That's what Forbidden Orchard comes into play, is that you can guarantee they always have a little creature to sack to keep Porphyry nodes alive. And you can keep a creature on your side of the board, so if you want to ensure you don't kill your creature, you just throw them a little creature and your creature's safe. So this creates, once these are together, it creates this like great lockdown. It's really good against aggressive decks as well. It's awesome against like the one power guys, and also the Eldrazi's when they drop about 6 Eldrazi's on turn 1, which we'll see in a video. Side of that, there's Ghostly Prisons in here, which is kind of the major lockdown. It's amazing this uncommon is now worth so much. And then there's 2 O-Rings just to get auxiliary threats. There's Timely Reinforcements for when they're aggro and they get you. It's great against red. There's always running 4 in the main here. And whenever this card comes into play, it's usually a blowout, especially if you have one of the 2 intangible virtues out. Secure the Waste is great end of turn. Mana Tithe keeps them off early when they're going to drop. And Path to Exiles is kind of a staple in white. And then our finishers here are Gideon, Elspeth, and Elspeth's Sun Champion. Gideon is an all-star as always, and Elspeth, Knight Errant, and Sun Champion can also take the game away. Now, any of these Planeswalkers with Suture Priest out is a great synergy. Because you'll be gaining life just to keep you alive. So in this deck, you'll end up getting down below 10, and then all of a sudden you'll start gaining your life back. So with her out, with the Timely Reinforcements, it's really good. And then with Forbidden Orchard, you could also just like lock kill them, so you can keep giving them creatures. And if you have 2 priests out, you can be doing multiple damage. It gets pretty awesome. So sideboard, we have Aethersworn Canonist just to keep them down if for storm decks, as well as the Edaline of Rhetoric. And then Lapse of Certainty for bigger decks. It's really great to counter a spell and throw it back on top. It's almost like a Time Walk. And Wrath of God against token decks and kind of creature-heavy decks. And then we have Classic Disenchant. It's good against Blood Moon or any other enchantments on the board, especially like Silk Wraps or other O-Rings. Blood Moons just definitely aren't that scary against this deck. You actually almost prefer it late game. Sometimes you don't want your Forbidden Orchards online, and you just want them for the mana, so it's not bad. If there's a Blood Moon, you do have Mystifying Maze to lock out their attacks. It's not a terrible thing to take it out. So let's show you what it looks like just to get one. We'll show one of the Eldrazi games in here. So this guy has an extremely strong opening. We'll fast forward through the first parts, and we'll take a pause and look at his deck. So you can see on my draw, I get Porphyry nodes, which is really good. I don't have a Forbidden Orchard, but that's okay. I've got a Path and a Mana Tithe, as well as an O-Ring for the control. So this is nice control-y opening. And you can see he has an extremely aggro opening. So he's got 2 eyes, which sucks for him, but outside of that, he can almost dump his whole entire deck on turn 2 or turn 1 if he even wanted to. So let's get it started and see what happens. So he's on the play. And right away he just drops Eye. I mean, I can choose to play Ghost Quarter and take the Eye out, but I actually want him to play into my hand because I have the Porphyry nodes and I want him to dump his whole hand so I can take it out. So he drops Eye, passes, I drop a Plains, and then pass. His Cavern's tough against my Mana Tithe, so I could have chose here to block something out, but I chose against it because it's all little things that I knew that Porphyry nodes could take out. So watch, you see here, he drops his whole hand, as well as the Sky Spawner, which is interesting. Instead of Vile Aggregate. I think Aggregate would have been the better play than Sky Spawner, but I also don't play the deck, so I'm not sure. So plays Sky Spawner, gets his token, and then drops 2 Endless Ones for 2/2s. So right away he's already representing 7 damage, gonna hit me in the face on turn 2, which is pretty insane, and I have planes out. He probably thinks he's got this in the bag, but he does not. So I instantly play Porphyry Nodes, and then I'm holding the other planes to either play Tithe or Path to Exile. I end up tithing something, and you'll see. I kind of misclick and throw Path to Exile out there, but you'll see I tithe. So I know I'm going to be taking 7 damage, which is going to be tough, but I also know that's all I'm going to take, and I'm going to start picking off. It sucks I'll kill the Eldrazi Scion first, but I do have a Path in an O-Ring that I could play in the following turn. So he drops a Mimic, which is pretty nice, but he doesn't use his Cavern, so actually what I go to do is tithe the Eldrazi Mimic, which I think is kind of the big issue. And I misclicked there, throwing Path out, but I told him, thanks Cockatrice for being so friendly. So I take out the Mimic, and then he fetches because he saw Path, but that was a mistake. We fixed that, so I'm going to fast forward through some of that. But you'll see he comes in for the attack for 7. So right at my upkeep, I take out the smallest guy because I have to. We clear up the fact that he grabbed an island and he shouldn't have. So at this point, I know he's going to get the island that he grabbed. I don't know what's in his hand. I figured his hand's dead because he already dumped everything. I mean, worst case scenario, he's going to have Reality Smasher or Thought Not Seer, which I think is okay. So I drop Intangible Virtue and Path and pass, knowing that Gideon with Intangible Virtue is going to be strong, and that I'm going to be able to pick off his flyer with Porphyry Nodes next turn, potentially O-Ring any other threat. So he comes in, hits me for 6, and my life is getting down there. It's great. If I was to top deck a Timely Reinforcements here, it'd be totally great. I'd have 3/2/2 Vigilance and +6 life, so it'd be a total swing. So I think I end up drawing into another Ghost Quarter here, but that gives me enough to play Gideon, as well as have Porphyry Nodes continuing that engine to keep killing off the Eldrazi. So now he's down to 2 creature cards, which is great. So at this point, I want to get Gideon on the board while I can. It's kind of a good, it ends up drawing his attention away, and you can see that as the turn comes. But get Gideon out and get a 3/3 Vigilance Knight is a pretty good setup because it's a good blocker against his 2/2s. I don't know he's holding Dismembers, so that's okay. But I don't mind him taking the hit in the life. So get the creatures out there. He draws into a Reality Smasher, which is awesome for him, but he's not able to play because he's down lands. So my next turn, I'm deciding that I'm going to be able to play O-Ring and take out both of his lands. Because I figured Cavern, getting rid of his any color source is a good idea. So he takes out the Knight, and he goes and he swings into Gideon. Takes Gideon out, which is great. Then Porphyry Nodes comes in and it kills off one of his last creatures, so he's down to 1 creature at this point. I draw into a Plains, which is fine for me because I'm going to end up Ghost Quartering both of his lands on his turn. That way he doesn't get to use the mana twice. Drop the Plains and hold my O-Ring for an additional threat. Because if I O-Ring the Endless one right here, which I don't need to do, I might as well take the 2 damage, but if there's no creatures in play, Porphyry Nodes dies. It has to be sacrificed, so I just go for his lands here, and then I pass turn. And then he's out of land, so he's only running 2 basics, so Cavern's really good there. So he has another Eye Ugin, which I didn't know, and then he's going to throw a big Endless one out there, and he's got a Reality Smasher that he's 1 land away from playing. So fast forward, he's going to come in for 2. He's going to play a 4/4 Endless one, which is fine. And then Nodes takes out the other 2, so he has a 4/4 left. And I fortunately draw into a Secure the Waste, which is really good, that I plan on playing end of turn. But he still won off his Reality Smasher, so what I do here, I believe, is I'm going to take the risk and take the 4 damage down to 1, because I know he doesn't have any like burn spells. I know he has haste creatures. So I just take the risk and go down to 1, and I let Porphyry Nodes do its job, and then get sacked. So I'm actually feeling in control here. I forget that Reality Smasher has haste, but the Secure the Waste ends up being really good because of Intangible Virtues on the board. So he draws his land, he plays Reality Smasher, he attacks, and you can just see I play out the 4 soldiers, and they're buffed, so you have no problem taking out Reality Smasher. And I get to keep 2 soldiers as a bonus. So really good setup. Super lucky to have drawn that Secure the Waste, but that's why it's a 4 in the deck. It's kind of that end of turn. That way you can hold the Mana Tide just in case you get something. And then you can just play it up. So this is great because now I'm on the attack because Secure the Waste is end of turn, and I draw a Path and O-Ring. I feel like a really good situation to be in control. I just start banging away at him. So we'll fast forward through some of that. He draws more creatures and plays out, which is good. At this point, he's a flyer. I have to take out any threat, so I'm going to start using my O-Rings and my Paths. I decide that I'm going to play the O-Ring against the spawner because I want to hold the Path out for any hasty threats. So see here, I just O-Ring the spawner and then attack my Vigilance guys and get in for some more points. Pass turn, and I didn't play Suture Priest because I wanted the Path and I wanted to make sure I had the extra mana to play if he dropped anything else that was an immediate threat. So he goes in with the Vile Aggregator, which isn't bad. And I Path at end of turn. That way I have my mana open to play Suture Priest and maybe a 3 mana spell. And I know at this point the Path Exile is a straight exile because he's no longer fetching for basics. There's no attack here, he's just holding Dismember. I'm on the attack and get in for another 4. He actually blocks the Scion, which I'm very happy to see. So I play the Priest here, and then I know that I don't have any cards in hand, so I can't use Path. I make that mistake, but at least I have 5 mana to stop Reality Smasher. And you better bet your ass what he draws is Reality Smasher. So I'm kind of surprised he actually went for the attack here, because I mean he's representing lethal, but he also knows that I'll eventually end up killing him with Suture Priest. So he drops a Smasher and attacks in right away, and I block of everybody. I try the Path, but I forget about that. I block of everybody, and now we're in top deck mode. So I draw Forbidden Orchard, which isn't great right now, but then I do draw Elspeth, so I do give him the colors token to let Elspeth hit the board and have 3 2/2 Vigilances, which is really good. And knowing I have a pocket Path to Exile if I need it. So, and he gets the Spirit, which isn't a problem now because that's going to get picked off if I draw Porphyry Nodes, and my soldiers will block that no problem. So Elspeth is definitely an all-star in this. There's no real engine going except for intangible virtue and tokens, which is good. But he drops the Thought Knot Seer. He takes my path, which I'm just fine with. Because Elspeth can take out Thought Knot, no problem. Also, I'm going to have so many 2/2 Vigilance tokens that I don't mind attacking into and losing 1 token to Thought Knot Seer. But when he drops Thought Knot, he does attack with the Mimic, which forces me to give up 2 of my tokens to trade. So down 2 tokens, but I know I'm going to get 3 more back at least at the beginning of this turn. And I draw into Intangible Virtue, which is really good in this situation because I just have giant cards. And at this point, he draws, and then he concedes. So it's a pretty good good matchup. You can see it 1 life just kind of held out. Then I'm going to quickly go over replay here from played some sort of black control. I'll show you how this lines up. This is the game before. I ended up taking this guy out 2 out of 3. So you can see the draws. Okay, it's very control-y. Suture Piece, which has the Forbidden Orchard synergy there, Mystifying Maze, Secure the Waste, and Gideon. It's an aggressive opening for this hand, but I'm just going to play it out because I'm just curious to see how these different hands play. They seem to work out pretty well against this. Open with the Plains, he immediately Thought Seizes, and he goes for Gideon. And then I'm just playing Suture Priest, getting ready to turn on the engine with Forbidden Orchard, hoping I draw into a nodes. Get in for 1. Plays Kozilek, he takes out. And I play Secure the Waste in response because I know he's going to take Secure the Waste. So now I'm down. The Ghostly Prison's good. I get that on the board, pass turn. So he gets his Obliterator out before playing Blood Moon, and I get another Ghostly Prison. So it really keeps Phyrexian Obliterator off me, so this kind of synergy happened pretty well. Otherwise, Obliterator would have been really brutal against me, especially since I lost my path. Him playing Dark Confidant against my deck is extremely good because Confidant's going to end up killing you, especially in a lockout deck. He made a big mistake. He ends up dismembering his own Dark Confidant because he can't attack because he's got to pay 4 mana for every attack, and Confidant's just going to draw you dead. And the first thing he draws with Confidant is Grey Merchant, which is extremely brutal because he takes 5 damage to the face. So I pretty much just Pillow Fort here, and then I just draw it out and grind it out to the end. Timely Reinforcements comes into big play here for the life gain. It gets me down to barely anything. And then I end up drawing into my Planeswalkers and slowly just take over the game. Yeah, the Pillow Fort made him make a bunch of crappy decisions, and I guess that's what Ghostly Prison does. So he ends up killing his own Dark Confidant, which is great. And just by doing that, because the Pillow Fort's going, you can't get in. So I'm just drawing this game out until I can. And you've noticed I got Timely in hand, so I'm just playing it smooth, and our life totals just switch, so it's a good time to play Timely Reinforcements. And I get to play Timely and Gideon in the same turn, which is pretty awesome. So, tides are turning already for him. Phyrexian Obliterator is definitely still an issue, but I could, worst case scenario, block of everything. He draws Lily, forces me to discard. I don't mind getting rid of Mana Type late in game. Though I would have loved to Mana Type that Lightning Bolt. So, O-Ring was an awesome top deck, and from there I just take the game away. Because he just can't beat me out. So there you go. The deck definitely has good behaviors against other deck strategies. It's really good against aggro. I suggest you check it out. Check out the link in the description. You can play it and just check it out. You can test it, throw an MTGO or whatnot. Take care.